Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. Today we are discussing chords as they are so important for every single genre that you're going to play in. If you want to write songs, arrange, produce, everything, honestly, every single genre uses them. So the way I think about chords is like building blocks. If you were to architect a beautiful building, you would arrange the blocks in a certain way to get different structures. So using your blocks, you could build a castle, you could build a cottage, maybe just a beautiful home, whatever you want to do. And it really only depends on your own imagination and your own knowledge of what you can create. There really is no limits. Obviously, there's probably red tape in real life, but we can use this as a hypothesis. So chords are really everything. And then I think about the melodies and I think about the effects and post-production and everything else that you sprinkle on top of songs. That's almost like the inner decor of your home. So if you want to imagine that the walls of your house is the harmony and then everything else you sprinkle on the inside is the melody and the rhythms and the specific lyrics and whatever else you want to do. And just like a building needs a solid foundation, a solid structure, your songs also need that. They also need a solid structure for everything else to live within. So let's get into it. So as I mentioned in my previous video, every major scale has 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is simply 1 repeated again on top. And similarly, every major key has 7 chords. 1 chord assigned to every note. So we have chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, chord 7, and chord 8 is simply 1 repeated on top. Now these are called the diatonic chords of C, and diatonic basically means the ones that naturally occur within the key. So because C has all white notes, that must mean that the natural chords that occur will also be all white notes. If I was in a different key that had sharps, the chords would also have sharps. If I was in a key with flats, the key would also have flat chords. Now I'd like to tell you about the 3 distinct chords that you will find within your diatonic chord bank. The major triad, the minor triad, and the diminished triad. Now anything trinity, triangle simply means 3, so these are chords containing 3 notes. Our first one, the major chord, consists of notes 1, 3, and 5 of your major key. So we know that the key of C major is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So therefore, our major triad of C is going to be 1, 3, 5. Same thing, if I know that the major scale of F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my major chord of F is going to be 1, 3, 5. We can also do this on D major. Our major scale of D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, my major chord of D, 1, 3, and 5. Now let's have a look at minor chords. So minor chords consist of notes 1, flat 3, and 5 of your major scale. So this was the major chord of C. 1, 3, 5. C minor is going to be 1, flat 3, 5. And I think this makes a lot of sense because we know instinctively that sound is quite sad and melancholic. And if you think about, if you feel sad, you feel a little bit deflated. And that's literally what's happening in this chord. The third is becoming depressed. So let's try that on F major. This is F major, 1, 3, 5. F minor, 1, flat 3, 5. Let's try it on D. D major. D major, 1, 3, 5. D minor. D minor, 1, flat 3, 5. Now our last chord is the diminished triad, and this is like taking an extra step into the darkness because it is consisting of notes 1, flat 3, and flat 5 of your major key. So that sound to me is kind of like anxiety. You know, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you start thinking about things you regret. That's kind of the sound for me. So if we did that on F, we have F major, F minor. Now
F diminished, 1 flat 3 flat 5. We could do it on D, D major, D minor, and now D diminished, 1 flat 3 flat 5. So let's now have a look at how these chords show up within your diatonic chord bank. We can see in the diagram that chord 1 is major, C major, chord 2, D minor, chord 3, E minor, then F, G, A minor, B diminished, and then C is simply repeated on top. So the big Roman numerals represent major chords and the small Roman numerals represent minor, and the little Roman numeral with that little circle represents diminished. So chord 1, 4, and 5 within this diatonic chord bank are always major. Chords 2, 3, and 6 always minor, and 7 is always diminished. The way I remember it is that the big Roman numerals are happy and they're, holding their head up high and they're proud and therefore they're big and grand. But the minor chords, they think less of themselves and they make themselves feel small because they're sad. Obviously, they're just as beautiful, but that's how I remember it. Now, here's a little song I wrote just to show you how you could use chords within a song. I'm a major in this minor world. It's major, then it's minor. I'm diminishing the first. I'm diminishing my minor into major. I guess I'm not so minor in this major world. That could be your hype song for the day. And now let's also have a look at a popular song that uses chords in a different combination. So this is Let It Be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So there I went down to the chords because of course you can go to this C and I can go to this G, but G is also here and F is also here and here and here. A minor is also here. And that's another reason why I love chords, because it makes the piano a much smaller place. You start to get really comfortable with the geography and the landscape of the piano, and you see the same patterns showing up everywhere. Okay, now what happens if I play chords that don't match the melody? Well, this happens. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Oh God, make it stop. Okay, so it just sounds very wobbly and a little bit dissonant because my notes are not the same. I was singing white notes because I'm in the key of C, but my chords were using sharps and flats. So I kind of think about this, if we go back to our building analogy, as having this lovely building, this grand castle, and then you put ugly furniture from the 60s that didn't age very well in it, and it just doesn't really work well together. So it's the same thing. Your melody has to be coherent with the chords you're playing, and vice versa. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope I was a help for you today and I simplified things a little bit. Do like and subscribe if you would like more of this, because I want to build a beautiful community, and my aim with this channel is to provide information about music in a really simple way, because I know that if you can understand things simply, you will advance so much faster. So take care, have a beautiful day, and God bless.